On today's edition of Early Look, I'm going to be previewing the UFC bantamweight title fight headlining the Sphere in Las Vegas. Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili, and if you've never watched the show before, my name's James Lynch. In today's video, I'm going to go through a bunch of different stats, a bunch of different intangibles. Then I'm going to give you my prediction for this fight at the end. Some of the stuff may have relevance, it may not. I just want to hear your prediction at the end of this. I don't just want to pick. I want to hear your exact prediction for this fight. One of the best fights of the year. Really looking forward to this one. As we always do on the show, let's do a quick tail of the tape between these two, and then we'll dig into each fighter. Right now, Sean O'Malley, 18-1, Merab Dvalishvili, 17-4, 29-33. Actually a bit surprised by that. I always think that Merab's a lot older, but he's not, just a couple years older. 5'11 to 5'6, 72 to 68. So O'Malley going to be younger and he's going to be bigger in this spot. And we're going to start with him first, the bantamweight champion, Sean O'Malley. So I mentioned that their 18-1 record. Sean O'Malley is coming into this fight with 11 knockouts, 1 submission, and 5 decisions in his career. He's also got a no contest as well. Mentioned that they're 29 years old, 5'11 with a 72-inch reach, so he's 4 years younger, 5 inches taller, and will have a 4-inch reach advantage in this fight. Sean O'Malley is a BJJ brown belt. He trained at a number of different camps throughout his career, but mainly the MMA lab. Also trained at Sanibel in his career, works with Tim Welch. We know all that. And he's the current one-time UFC bantamweight champion. He's made 1 successful title defense against Chito Vera. He's landed the most significant strikes landed in a UFC bantamweight title fight with 230 against Marlon Chito Vera, which was in his last fight. He's got the 4th highest striking differential in a UFC title fight at 141 against Chito Vera as well. He's also got fight of the night 3 times, performance of the night 6 times, and has the most post-fight bonuses in UFC bantamweight division history. If you want to know why the UFC is so high on Sean O'Malley, that's a lot of the reason why. Very entertaining, never in a dull fight. Sean O'Malley made his amateur debut way back in March of 2013, made his pro debut in March of 2015, and made his UFC debut coming off Dana White's Contender Series in December of 2017. He's 10-1 in the UFC with 1 no contest. He's got 6 stoppage victories. Some notable wins include Eddie Wineland, who I can't remember if he was ranked at the time, but Eddie Wineland's fought for a title, so that's somewhat notable in his career. Thomas Almeida got a win over him, finished him actually. Rulin Paiva, also Piotr Jan, the former bantamweight champion. Aljamain Sterling, which was his biggest win to date, and then Marlon Chito Vera, a fight that he ended up getting the avenging that because obviously he lost to Vera. That's the only loss in his MMA career. He's had a couple layoffs in his career. We'll just quickly point those out because again, he's obviously fighting twice this year, but still, that's something worth noting. Going from Andre Sukumta to the Quinones fight, there was a 735-day layoff. You can do the research on it, but there was a bit of a USADA issue there with O'Malley back in the day. Going from Paiva to Pedro Munoz, there was a 203-day layoff, and then going from Jan to Sterling, there was a 301-day layoff. He's going to be fighting twice in the same calendar year for the first time since 2022. He's only been in 1 close fight in his career. That was the Piotr Jan fight. That's the one that everyone always talks about. And if you go look at MMA decisions, which we will right now instead of looking on here, that's the website where the media can submit their scorecards, and I think it is worth noting. And this isn't the be-all, end-all. It's just something I like to point out in my breakdowns. But if you look at it there, 1 media member, Matthew Wells from MMA Junkie, scoring the fight for Sean O'Malley. Everyone else scoring it for Piotr Jan. So that goes the other way. Who knows how things would go in O'Malley's career, but that is one thing worth noting. And then let's talk about some stats with Sean O'Malley. Check this out. Significant light strikes landed per minute, 7.63. Now, keep in mind, a lot of this was probably inflated after his last fight against Chito Vera because that's about as dominant as a win you can get without finishing your opponent. So very impressive there from O'Malley. His significant striking accuracy is at 61%. His striking defense is at 62%, so he doesn't get hit that much. His takedown average is 0.35. His takedown accuracy is at 42%. His takedown defense is at 62%, so we'll see if that is put to the, well, it will be put to the test in this fight with Merab. I don't think Merab's just going to keep it standing the whole time, and his sub-average is 0.3. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about Sean O'Malley as he enters in a very big fight here against Merab Dvalishvili. And let's talk about Merab right now, the machine. You can see his record there, 17-4. He's got 3 knockouts, 1 submission, and 13 decisions. He's the #1 ranked bantamweight. He's 33 years old, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach. He splits time between Serra-Longo MMA and Syndicate. He has a black belt in judo. He's got performance of the night 1 time against Marlon Moraes. He's got fight of the night 1 time against Ricky Simone. He's got the most unanimous decision wins in UFC bantamweight division history at 8. He's also tied with Aljamain Sterling for the longest win streak in the UFC bantamweight division history at 9. He's also got the most takedowns landed in UFC bantamweight division history at 66. He made his amateur debut in May of 2013. So interesting. He makes his amateur debut in May of 2013. Sean O'Malley made his also in the same year. Made his pro MMA debut in January of 2014, a fight he ended up losing, which is interesting. There's a lot of fighters, though, that have lost their pro debut, which is kind of interesting. Actually, Merab went 1-2 to start his MMA career, but since then, been on quite the roll. In the UFC, he is 10-2. He's got one stoppage victory throughout that entire time, mostly going the distance. His only stoppage win is against Marlon Moraes. Some notable wins for Merab in his career include Brad Katona, who at the time was undefeated. I wanted to mention that just because Brad was 8-0 at the time. I think it's notable in the sense that Katona was undefeated. Maybe not, the best win now looking back now. John Dodson, former title challenger. Marlon Moraes got a win there. Actually finished him there, so we've got to mention that. Jose Aldo, arguably one of the biggest wins in his career. Piotr Jan, and Henry Cejudo in his last fight. So these last three, I mean, these are the top of the food chain when it comes to top fighters in the division. And he's only got two notable, two losses, one notable. Frankie Saenz, we'll talk about that decision in a second here. But Ricky Simone's notable because he's ranked. Frankie Saenz, I don't think, has ever been ranked in his career. So that's sort of something to keep in mind. Another win I'll give him credit for is Rafael Stotts, 15 seconds. Finished him in 2017. Obviously, Stotts has gone on to have a very good career in Bellator. Merab's had a few layoffs going from Marlon Moraes to Jose Aldo. There was a 329-day layoff going from Jan to Cejudo. There was a 343-day layoff. So he had the biggest layoff of his career against Henry Cejudo, and he still ended up getting the win. This will be the first time in a while that he's had back-to-back fights in the same year. First time since 2000 and... Where are we? Actually, I don't know if 2020. That's the first time he's had back-to-back fights, I think. No, sorry, 2021. My bad. Cody Stamann, Marlon Moraes fought them both in the same year. But yeah, so that's just one thing to keep in mind as far as the activity level. Merab's never had any major injuries that taken him out of any fights. I wanted to mention the Frankie Saenz fight, just if you're looking at that, maybe aren't familiar with some of the earlier fights with Merab. If you look on MMA decisions right now, that was UFC Fight Night 123 back in December of 2017. 4 media members scored the fight for Saenz. 10 scored it for Merab. So again, that should have been a win for Merab, so I don't really think too much of that. Let's look at his stats. Merab, you can see there, as we're waiting for the page to load. Why is it taking so long? Well, either way, I have them here at my disposal. It'll just take a second to load. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Why isn't it loading? Here we go. Significant strikes landed per minute, 4.50, so that's a lot lower than O'Malley, but still very impressive. His striking accuracy is at 41%. His strikes per minute is 2.37. His striking defense is at 57%, so that's very good. Takedown average, 6.43. That's one of the highest I've seen since doing the show. Takedown accuracy is at 36%. His takedown defense is at 80%, and his sub-average is at 0.3. Again, really, really, really love this fight. And let's look at the odds right now. Right now, you're seeing Merab a slight favorite here. It's close, though. Right now, DraftKings minus 115. You see a few other bet books just having him as a slight favorite. And O'Malley, a slight dog, just one book right now having him at actual plus money. Everything else is still minus money here. And then if you look on Tapology, it tells a different story. And this could be a variety of reasons. Because again, you can just pick your fight. You don't have to bet any money. 64% of people picking O'Malley, 36% picking Merab. All right, my pick for this fight, I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley by second round knockout. I know that's going to be a bit surprising to some people for a variety of reasons. Number one, if you've watched my content over the years, I don't think I've ever picked against Merab since I started doing this show. I picked him in every single fight, including Piotr Jan, including Cejudo. He's been great. He's been really, I mean, usually he's an underdog in a lot of spots, and I've been able to, make some money on that because, that you're obviously getting plus money when he fights his opponents. But look, this fight's going to go one or two ways, and I'm taking option one as opposed to option two. So option one is, I think, and I'll explain this in a second. Option one is him getting knocked out. Option two is Merab grinds him out to a decision. So you realistically could hedge this fight if you want. I don't think Merab's going to finish O'Malley. I think if he wins, it'll be a decision. It'll be 5 rounds. And I could see that happening. Maybe O'Malley doesn't land that big shot. But there's a couple things that I think are notable when it comes to O'Malley and why I'm picking him here by second round knockout. 61% of O'Malley's wins are by knockout. He is a finisher. If you look at his career overall, he's getting a lot of wins by knockout. He's got 28% of his wins by decision. And this is a 5-round fight, so I think it's more likely he goes by knockout as opposed to a decision. His last fight went the distance, but he fought a guy in Chito Vera who's never been finished in the UFC, so that's something to keep in mind. the last time Merab fought a power puncher, if you look at who he's fought the last couple fights, Cejudo, does he have knockout power? Yeah, but like not really at 135. He's more of a TKO volume guy. And even then, he doesn't have a ton of finishes. Petr Yan, yeah, same sort of deal. I feel like Yan and Cejudo are similar in the sense that they have good striking. They're very good technically, but they don't have a ton of power behind those punches. If you look at Yan, throughout his career, they're like TKO finishes, they're not like one punch knockout. Aldo's got some knockout power, but we're talking about Merab fighting Aldo when Aldo's a little bit older, right? Aldo was 35 at the time when he fought him. You're not getting the same Aldo that's just knocking dudes out left, right, and center in the featherweight division. The only guy he's fought that has any realistic knockout power, in my opinion, is Marlon Moraes. And what happened in that fight? Go back and watch it. Moraes almost finished him. He's got some serious, serious power, and Merab's chin held up. But saying that, so basically what happened in that fight was Moraes ended up tagging him, almost finished him, but Merab survived, and then he came back and won. What happened to Marlon Moraes after that fight? Kind of what I'm getting at here is that Marlon Moraes is not a great opponent, and his career went completely down the tube after that. Look at all these losses. And he started getting knocked out by guys that just aren't even like, knockout guys themselves. Like Song Yadong doesn't get first round finishes. Shaman Moraes, Brendan Loughnane, Gabriel Braga. Like, kind of what I'm getting at is that, like, he nearly got finished by a guy he should have destroyed. Let's be honest here. Marlon Moraes at that stage in his career was essentially damaged goods. So, and I know that fight was in 2021, but still, that does stick out in my head because if you look at all the fights after that, he hasn't fought guys with the power of O'Malley. And this is something people debate me on, but I'm going to stand firm on this in this breakdown. I think O'Malley has the best knockout power in the weight class. I do. I mean, how many guys are finishing Aljamain Sterling? How many guys are, putting a beating on Chito Vera like he is and almost finishing him? That's Sean O'Malley. The guy is a sniper, and he's got some serious power behind his punches. So I just look at this from a style perspective. While yes, Merab has the cardio and the takedowns. I mean, you could say the same thing about O'Malley. Has he fought a guy like Merab before? No, he has not. So I could certainly see that happening too. But the way I look at it is O'Malley's got 5 rounds to find that chin, and I think he'll find it at some point. O'Malley's also younger. He has a height and reach advantage, and we know he can go 5 rounds. There was a question, I think in his last fight or a couple fights ago, can he go 5 rounds? Is the cardio going to be an issue? Not really. And here's one more thing I got to point out, and at the time, I'm glad I did this week, because this is something to keep in mind on, and I just interviewed O'Malley's coach, Tim Welch, earlier today. Tim Welch, I should say. Merab got that cut. Okay, it's not going to take him out of the fight, right? But here's the thing. He's not going to be able to spar or train for that little period of time. That's a distraction in camp. It's not going to be the reason he loses this fight, but O'Malley doesn't have to miss a beat in training because he doesn't have any cuts or anything like that that's going on that we know of. But, again, I think that's something else that works against Merab. So, listen, I know there's going to be people telling you, I told you so if Merab ends up winning a decision. You don't need to tell me that. I know that's a possibility in this fight. I just think 5 rounds, O'Malley has a chance to go out there and do what he did to Aljamain Sterling, his teammate. I think he can do it. So I'm going Sean O'Malley, 2nd round knockout. The reason I'm going 2nd round is because I think it's going to play out very similarly to the Aljo fight. I think 1st round will be close. O'Malley will find his range, and at some point, because of that height and reach advantage, he's going to go out there and he's going to knock out Merab Dvalishvili. So my official pick is going to be Sean O'Malley, 2nd round knockout, and then we're going to finally get Umar and O'Malley after this. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know your prediction for this fight. How do you think it's going to go? And follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @LynchOnSports. My name is James Lynch. I do the show Early Look almost every week. If there's any other fights you want me to preview, let me know. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.